thanks for clicking on the video. Hit the subscribe button for more weekly content, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss a thing. And after 7 months, we're back! What's good, people? What's poppin'? How are you doing? Welcome to another What If? It's been a long time coming, but our tale continues today. Before we dive back into this developing story, there are a few things I should mention. If you don't care and just want the story, use the timestamp in the description to skip forward. Number 1, if you've seen the video I posted this past Monday, you already know that the reason I was away for so long, because I was working on my TikTok grind. That grind isn't stopping, and I'd love it if you guys could show us some love. We're almost to 20,000 followers over there. That's that. Secondly, I saw your comments on previous videos requesting longer parts. Your words have been heeded, and I'll do my best to bring forth longer episodes. Finally, I have a question for you all. Would you all like it if I compile the individual parts of a complete What If series into a long video? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. With all that out of the way, let's get back to the action. Like before, if this part gets 10 likes, part 11 will come your way. Since it's been a while, at least for me, let's do a quick recap of the events that took place thus far. The village of Konoha houses not just one, but two Nine-Tails Jinchuriki, Naruto Uzumaki and Hinata Hyuga. Over the course of this scenario, we've seen the story diverge into something far different than the original. Naruto graduated from the academy on his first try. Hinata defeated Neji in the Chunin exams. Naruto doesn't learn the multi-shadow clone jutsu, and Hinata becomes a student of Jiraiya. Overall, the two have become far more skilled shinobis due to their shared childhood trauma and the fact that they had each other to make one another better. Hinata's feelings towards Naruto are essentially the same as in the original story. Naruto's feelings towards her? Well, we'll just have to see how the story unfolds. In the last part, Jiraiya's students had all but learned their respective jutsu. Within 3 days, Naruto learned the Rasengan, and Hinata was able to unleash a Dragon Flame jutsu, completing a major hurdle in her nature transformation training. Before continuing with her training, the conversation she had with Tsunade echoed in her head. What does it mean to be an impenetrable shield? She's learned how to use her fire nature, but how could such a destructive force be used to defend? Not to mention the pure destructive force of the Nine-Tails. For now, she decides to not focus necessarily on the tailed beast and dedicates the remainder of the week focusing on combining fire style with the Gentle Fist and Byakugan. Let's delve into her thought process for a moment. The Byakugan, as we all know, gives the user a near 360-degree field of vision. In Hinata's eyes, this means the potential for a 360-degree barrier, similar to the 8 chakrams palm rotation. But instead of emitting a large amount of chakra outwards and spinning, she wanted to incorporate her natural flexibility. This new technique is going to require a lot: extreme precision, advanced chakra control, and physical endurance. As a test of sorts, she focused her chakra into the palm of her hands. Aiming at a nearby tree and swiping at it, Hinata managed to cut the tree in two by shaping her chakra into a thin blade. She thought about trying it out using her newfound fire nature, but opted against it as she doesn't have complete control of it yet. One step at a time, she told herself. It's gonna take some time to perfect this new jutsu, but her resolve has become almost as unshakable as her fellow Toad Stage student. Some of you guys might be wondering how Naruto's training is progressing. To be honest, it's going how one would expect. With each new day, he's getting better at producing a consistently powerful Rasengan. It's not really that much different than before. The only difference here is that he's working on refining the technique instead of just getting it to work. But here's where an important difference arises. A full week has passed and Naruto has indeed mastered the Rasengan. In the original story, the total training causes him to pass out and he needs to be carried back to his room by Shizune. It's a different case this time around, as Naruto didn't need to overexert himself now. Tsunade still drugs Jiraiya to prevent him from interfering with her meeting with Orochimaru, but she's now greeted by Naruto and Hinata at the hotel entrance to proceed with the bet. Naruto, being Naruto, arrogantly proclaims to Tsunade that her necklace is as good as his once she witnesses his skills. Even though she already knew he learned the jutsu through her secret observations, Tsunade played along. But before Naruto could demonstrate, they were interrupted by Shizune. Tsunade was masking her morbid expression, but as soon as her aide arrived, that became impossible, as she had already known why Shizune came, to beg Tsunade to not meet with Orochimaru. Upon hearing that, Naruto and Hinata became stunned as to why Tsunade would want to meet with him. But not being one to stay silent for long, the blonde ninja joins Shizune in trying to dissuade her. Swiftly and calmly, Tsunade knocks the both of them unconscious before solemnly turning to the rightfully shaken Hinata. "Take care of them," she softly said before leaving. Still confused by what just happened, Hinata managed to heed Tsunade's orders and transported the two fallen ninjas back in the hotel. Right after, Hinata thought to locate her teacher, as he might know what to do. Upon opening the door, she saw her weakened teacher hunched over, apparently looking for Tsunade himself. Hinata explained to Jiraiya that she had already left to meet with Orochimaru. At that moment, Shizune begins to come to, and after doing so, explains the deal between the other two Sannin. Naruto is still out cold, and since there's no time to wait for his recovery, the three of them hurry to try and stop whatever Orochimaru and Kabuto are planning. So let's jump forward to the action. The results of Tsunade and Orochimaru's meeting remain the same. Tsunade, having witnessed Naruto and Hinata's determination, refused her former teammate's offer and instead tried to kill him. Of course, this was thwarted by Kabuto, and the climax of the arc is now in full swing. As soon as Hinata, Jiraiya, and Shizune arrive on the scene, they manage to intercept Kabuto's attack on Tsunade. Per Jiraiya's orders, he'll confront Orochimaru, Shizune will fight Kabuto, and it's up to Hinata to protect Tsunade while she heals herself. "I thought I told you to take care of them," the Sannin harshly directed towards her protector.
"With all due respect, Lady Tsunade, you look like the one who needs my protection."
The older shinobi secretly grinned to herself and focused her efforts back to healing. However, Kabuto is easily able to take down Shizune, crippling her to prevent her from moving. Now it's time to take care of the other two. Let's talk about Kabuto for a moment. He's a cunning and cautious individual. As Orochimaru's spy, his efforts were mainly directed at observing Sasuke, but as a contestant of the Chunin exams, he witnessed firsthand the power of the Hyuga clan's Byakugan. He knew that he'd lose outright against her in a one-on-one fight. Good thing he wasn't alone, he thought, as he released a snake straight towards Hinata to lure her away from Tsunade. On the surface, his plan seemed to work since the giant snake chased the young ninja away, leaving Tsunade vulnerable. However, Hinata was able to immobilize the creature with a few well-placed gentle fists. Kabuto, according to plan, charged straight towards his target.
"I don't think so! Fire style! Dragon Flame Jutsu!"
A stream of fire raged in front of the sound ninja, cutting him off from Tsunade. This was not something he expected. Based on his observations, the Hyugas were primarily taijutsu users, but as a plan formulated in his mind, Kabuto brushed this off and shifted his focus. My, that was quite a surprise, but I suppose it couldn't be helped.
"What are you talking about?"
Hinata asked as the inferno raged around them. I thought it would be obvious. You must be so pitifully bad at the Hyuga clan's secret taijutsu. They have to rely on other ninja skills. What a disgrace! Hinata felt as if her heart just stopped. Her body went stiff. These words, they were the exact words she heard day in and day out as a young girl forced to train. As her mind flooded with traumatic flashbacks, Kabuto took advantage and began his onslaught. The young Hyuga tried to defend herself, but she was too distracted, and due to being surrounded by the flames of her previous technique, escape wasn't an option. How ironic, Kabuto mocked between each blow. It seems that your own technique is what's going to kill you. You really are a failure. Even more so than that Naruto kid.
"Naruto!"
she uttered before being kicked to the edge of the flame. The kid's got guts, I'll admit, but he's nothing without the fox. Hokage, just empty-headed words from an empty-headed moron.
"Hey, Trigram! Air bomb!"
Before he can even comprehend what had just happened, Kabuto fell over with immense pain in his leg. What?
"You might be right about me,"
she said, making her way towards the sound ninja.
"I never really lived up to my family's expectations, and because of that, I was abandoned by them. But Naruto accepted me for who I am, as a disgraced Hyuga, as a fellow Nine-Tails vessel, as a shinobi. Don't you dare tarnish his dream of becoming Hokage. As a shield, I'll protect that dream."
Shut up! Kabuto shouted while sending a kunai flying her way, only for it to be blocked by a thin blade of chakra emitting from Hinata's palm. That arrogance he had mere moments ago became genuine fright at the sight of Hinata nearing closer. This single blade became 2. 2 became 8. 8 became 64. The numbers soon became immeasurable as Hinata rotated her arms faster and faster. Each strike on Kabuto's body was thin and precise, each critical as many were aimed at his vitals. He was trapped in an inescapable onslaught.
Protective 8 trigrams, 64 pounds!
The force of this technique was enough to extinguish the flames, and once the dust settled, Kabuto lay unconscious on the ground due to external and internal injuries. Tsunade witnessed Hinata, though bloodied and battered, victorious over this dangerous foe. Tsunade was stunned at everything she saw from this young ninja. Hinata gives her elder a week somehow before collapsing herself due to her own injuries and exhaustion. Tsunade, having recovered enough of her own strength, makes her way towards Hinata to tend to her injuries. You did good, kid. Naruto. No, the entire village is lucky to have you. With Hinata passed out, the rest of the fight between the three Sannin continues as it does in the original story. Orochimaru retreats with Kabuto and the rest return to recover. Once back in the city, they are met with a very unhappy Naruto who didn't like the fact that he was left out of the action, but after hearing the full story, he was quick to forgive. He was also impressed again by Hinata's ever-growing skills as a ninja. You have got to show me that new skill of yours! It sounds awesome!
It's not complete yet, but okay.
She shyly responded. After a week had passed and everyone was fully recovered, Naruto properly demonstrated the Rasengan to Tsunade, and as for the rest of the arc, Tsunade was soon inaugurated as Konoha's 5th Hokage. As this arc officially comes to a close, so does this part. What do you think? As this series mainly focuses on Hinata as a jinchuriki, I wanted her to take Naruto's place during the climactic battle. Sure, that was the moment we could finally see Naruto's complete Rasengan in action, but we've already seen it, and it's Hinata's time to shine. That doesn't mean that the titular character is going to be brushed to the side, especially during the next arc. But what were your thoughts on this part? How would you write things differently? Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys again in the next part. Goodbye!